So, good morning, everyone, and welcome to Sunday Yoga Therapy, where we both energize and relax today. And this week, I'm really bringing in gratitude for all the resources we have here in Canada or wherever you are. Some of you are in Europe. And thinking of India, where the work that I bring you is from. I've studied for 20 years in India, in South India, and just thinking of all the people having a really challenging time in Mother India. So just bringing that to our consciousness today. We are also working with the lower back and empowerment, the sense of having personal power and self-efficacy to deal with whatever situation we're in. Okay.
Hello,
So,
Maggie, can't hear
yeah.
you.
Oh, you can't hear me?
Very well. No.
Can other people hear me okay? Yeah, other people are okay. Denise, do you want to try again? Do you want to turn up your volume? Are you okay now? Okay, I hope she's okay. All right. Okay. So, good morning. Let's get started with our lower back pain practice. So, just finding your feet, bending your knees. A lot of you talked about gardening, which is just a wonderful thing that many of us are doing, especially during COVID. The garden shops can't keep up with the demand, which I think it's one of those silver linings of this time. Inhale, expanding, feeling the air around you, and exhale, feeling the earth, bowing the head to the heart, to the feet. Inhale, expanding like the sun. And exhale from the pelvic floor all the way up to the belly button. So that belly button region is a real focus today. Inhale. And exhale. You can make a ha as you exhale. Inhale, feeling that radiance all around you. And exhale, like feeling the water move from the top of the head down the body to the feet, to the earth, letting go, cleansing. Inhale, filling up with new energy, new radiance, new prana. And exhale, letting go of old energy, ama, toxins, mental malas, mental toxins, letting go of all of that, giving it to Mother Earth. Inhale, expanding. And exhale, grounding, centering. And closing the mouth now, Ujjayi Pranayama. Just do a few more in your own time, just waking up to this beautiful day. And just finishing up. If it's comfortable bringing your feet together, you could have a block between your thighs if you prefer, to help you connect to the hips. So we worked on that in the last couple of weeks, so feel free to add that. Today I'm going to be pretty prop free except for my bench. Inhale, coming up and feeling that radiance all around you, feeling your feet. Every day is different, so I love this pose because it's like, oh, wow, today my balance is totally there, and the next day it's not, and you just kind of see if it changes. So I have this bend to the knees. You don't have to, that's not classical, but I do that as well as the bow of the head to the heart, just to add a bit more flow to the movement. So that's a choice. So we inhale, if possible, from the top to the bottom, and exhale bottom to top. So inhale from the chest to the belly. Exhale, belly to chest. I'm going to add an Om now, if you'd like to join, or you can just listen. Usually the breath lengthens when you add sound. Please do this in your own time. We can have a chorus of Oms. The sound helps us lengthen the exhale. Can keep that going, or if you like, staying at the top and balancing the full pose Tadasana, palm tree pose. When it's in this version, when you're up on your toes, you can visualize that palm tree of South India. So today I'm connecting to the motherland of yoga, sending her people hope, strength, and healing. And you're ready, coming down. And that might be your morning practice, that you take home just that, a moving meditation. And you can end it with just standing in samastiti and observing the breath. Inhale, expand. Exhale, center. Inhale, let. Exhale, go. And you can place one hand on the heart and the other on the belly. Some people find that very regulating. Today we're going to be focusing a lot on this belly center, the belly button, and how this personal power links to this more universal power of the heart that links us to everything and everyone. And when you're ready, we're going to do some side bends. So a little bit different today, just for fun. So inhale, arms coming up, and you can come up on the toes if you want. And exhale, one arm down and the other comes along your ear, stretching into the side body. Inhale, hands together, up on the toes. And exhale, reaching to the other side. As you exhale, draw in from the pelvic floor up. And do this in your own time, in your own breath pattern. You want to add a chin lock as you come up, Jalandhara Bandha, the chin lock. That lengthens the back of the neck. Energetically, it's said to ground us. It brings the energy down rather than letting it go up. Krishnamacharya was very particular about the chin lock, the Jalandhara Bandha. The Jalandhara is this, Jala is water, it's the juice that comes via the pineal gland, pituitary gland, and down to the throat. We actually know this from science. So those hormones. Easier to do it after inhale as the chest rises towards the chin. Now, if you like, you could stay on one side or keep this going dynamically, your choice. So when there's more discomfort or tightness in the body, it's usually good to just keep things flowing. If you'd like a deeper stretch going into the connective tissue, it might feel good to stay. You can have the palms together. You can fold the arms holding the elbows. That's my personal favorite. Just have one arm, or you can hold the top wrist, get a bit more deeply. You can also cross that same leg, that the side you're on, you can cross that and take it a little deeper still. Learned yesterday from my anatomy colleague that our connective tissue tends to get a little more tight, not quite as flexible with loss of estrogen during menopause. So good to know. And yoga, of course, can help. We're going to go to the other side, sami variation. Stretching out that connective tissue, that fascia, by staying in the pose. Adding any variation to the arms that works for you, to the legs. Right? Adding the legs helps us get into the lower back and hips, which is our focus today. So if you've ever had a back spasm, it's usually on one side. It's usually the side of your back that is weaker. And sometimes tighter, which is a weird combination, but can really be helpful to get into this area. Quadratus lumborum, the QL. And finishing up. And notice how you feel. Let your breath slow down. All right, so lots of lower back stuff going on today from people gardening this spring. I'm going to use the bench to start. So we're just going to go into one-sided forward bend and just lengthen the spine. So we're going to inhale. I'll just start you a little better. So bring one foot forward and the other foot turn out. Inhale, bring your arms up. Exhale, reach forward. Now, if you need to, you can bend the front knee as you do this. You can also do this with just one arm. And if you're doing one arm, you might want to try opposite arm to front leg, just to stretch that whole side of the body. And then exhale, bringing the hands to the chair or to blocks or to the floor. Parshva Uttanasana, the back foot just turning in to the level that allows you still to balance. Inhale, coming up. Now, if this is too much weight for your lower back, bring the arms to the sides or no arms at all. Exhale, starting position. Inhale, arms up. So arms coming forward is working the multifidus, the deep back muscles. Exhale, you're rounding the lower back, you're drawing the belly in. And if you don't feel safe, bend that front knee to give more stability for the back. Bring the hands to your place on the chair, blocks, table, floor. Inhale, coming up. Now, when you come up, this is a back arch. This is like doing a Superman on the floor. It's a lot of work. Exhale, hands down. So if it's too much, bring the arms to the side. It's a lot less work to bring the arms to the side. Keep this going. Inhale up. Jalandhara Bandha, that chin lock. Exhale, pelvic floor, lower belly, belly button in. So fourth time. Inhale, coming up. It's a lot of work on the back. Be careful. Exhale, starting position. And when you have less time, sometimes I do skip this going back to the beginning, but it is lovely to do that. Next one, we're going to stay. Inhale. Exhale, extend. Inhale, I'm going to do a dynamic stay, sthiti, looking up. Closer I am to the chair, the easier, so I'm pretty far away. Now I can do this with my hands on the floor, but having the chair or the bench can help me get more length in the lower back. Exhale, pelvic floor, lower belly, belly button in, chest falls, release the head, round the spine. I've got my belly and my thigh connected. Keep this going. Sthiti, this is called. Inhale, lengthen. Exhale, down. Now, when you do this with your hands on the floor, each time you come up, you'll definitely be able to lengthen. You might bring the rib cage forward. And when you're ready, just stay in the full pose, either hands on the chair, blocks, or on the floor, and rest here. Focus on exhale. Now, if you have high blood pressure or other heart conditions, you could keep the head up to help with this, or have the hands on a chair so that your head is not lower than your heart. And that's just to help not put so much pressure on the heart. It's quite a change of blood flow, bringing the head lower than the heart. Advantage is this puts us into relaxation response just through the positioning of the body. Feel that stretch in the front leg, and if you can, feel the stretch into the lower back. Maybe bring the rib cage a bit more forward. You need to come out, do come out. Just rest here in meditation. Inhale, let, exhale, go. When you're ready, coming out. Come out slowly. Hands on the chair, on your thighs. And step back if you can, or you can step forward, step the other leg back. Land in your samasthiti, even standing. So check in, a recalibration. Other foot forward, I'm bringing my right foot forward, and I'm turning my other foot out, my back foot. Inhale, both arms up or opposite arm. Show with opposite arm, just to show you what that looks like. Lovely variation for working on stretching one side at a time. So this is stretching that whole left side as I extend that left arm all the way through the back into the leg and the back foot. Exhale, coming down. I've got a chair, I can kind of crawl my fingers forward a bit more. Inhale, if you can, bring the arm in line with your ear and extend the back into a back arch. Exhale, starting position. You can add more weight by adding 2 arms, less weight, 1 arm or arms to the sides. Chin lock, Jalandhara Bandha. Exhale, pelvic floor, lower belly, belly button in, chest falls. Inhale, coming up. Exhale, starting position. Continue this in your own timing. I'm going to do 4 times dynamically. Every time you go to the starting position, feel your feet, feel the earth. Once you finish your 4 times, stay in your forward bend. And breathe. I'll be there with you shortly. Now in this position, doing sthiti, hands on the chair or on the floor. Inhale, lengthen the spine, look up. Exhale, forward bend. Now you're going to feel a big stretch in your front leg. You're also stretching the lower back on the side where the foot is back. So for me, this is the left side. I've got my right foot forward. Can have the hands on the floor or on blocks. Get a deeper inversion effect, head lower than the heart, modified by having the arms up on a table, counter, bench. So you do that inhale, you can try bringing your rib cage forward, drawing the front of the rib cage, drawing it forward on the thigh, and that will stretch your lower back a bit more. Connect to the core as you exhale. Mula Bandha, pelvic floor to belly button lock. Uddiyana Bandha is the stomach drawing up towards the heart. That's why we don't eat very much before yoga. You can have a piece of fruit, a little yogurt. I make this chocolate mousse out of tofu. That's my pre-yoga food. I'm practicing later. Sometimes a smoothie will be okay. Just be careful, don't fill the stomach very much. And just stay in the pose if you can. If it's too much, come out. Rest. And move into meditation. Inhale, let, exhale, go. Sanskrit, inhale Om, exhale Namo. Namo is I surrender, I let go. Not me. Not the little me. This is becoming a daily practice for me, just observing the antics of the ego and how it just loves to usurp the power of the soul and pretend it's the big woman, the big person running our lives, and just reminding the mind to be in service of the whole system, the whole body, and the soul, the self. When you're ready, coming up, just constantly observing the tendency to fall into the ego and the belief that that's who I am. Chögyam Trungpa Rinpoche says in Cutting Through Spiritual Materialism, one of my favorite books from the Shambhala Tibetan Buddhist tradition, he says you actually need a strong ego before you can let go of it. So today we're working with this ego, this belly button self, this little self, and we do need to have it strong for the human existence. But through practice, we can train it to be a tool of the heart, the power of the heart, something larger. Moving into forward bends, and I'm just going to switch my screen so I can see some other folks here. All right, it's nice to see you, but you certainly, please turn your screen off at any time. I do that myself. Sometimes you just need to just be with yourself. Totally allowed. All right, forward bend. We're going to do a forward bend, which is for the hips and the lower back. I'm going to cross the right foot behind the left. This probably looks opposite for you. Start with your easy side. So whatever one feels easier for you, you can do a little test. And usually the one you do first is your easy one. And if this is not comfortable for your knees, just have your feet parallel. Also, you might want to do this. I'm going to show it with the bench because for a lot of my students, it's too much on the knees to go all the way down. So inhale. I'm going to show modification arms to the sides. If you can do the arms to the front. And exhale, coming forward, stretching really long through the upper back, but rounding the lower back. It's a bit of a balance pose. Quite nice to do at the bench. And if you want to make it easier, you can just slide the hands up the legs or a little bit more weight, arms at the sides. Just keep this going your own timing. If you want to make it harder, keep the arms forward the whole time. This is going to work on the lower back a bit more. As you inhale, you're arching the spines, creating an arch, arms in line with the ears. Exhale, taking that break in between if you like, or keep just going up and down. Harder still, inhale coming up, interlock the fingers. Exhale, extend the spine nice and long, decompressing the spine. Rounding as you exhale, inhale, arching. Move the arms in line with the ears. And exhale, release. That was 4 times. We're going to switch sides. You can do more on that side if you like. Do any variation of that that works for you. So this time I'm going to do it without the bench. And I'm going to do this version where I'm interlocking the fingers. I learned this from Srivasta Ramaswamy, a 90-year-old teacher in the Krishnacharya tradition. He's teaching a ton. It's really wonderful to see. He's a direct student of Krishnacharya's. And he's from Chennai. He's teaching all over the world now online. And I got to meet him my last trip to Chennai. And this was one of my big takeaways was this interlocking of the fingers, which if you have an imbalance in your spine, it can really help because the side that's strong and long, it will help the side that is a little weaker and maybe more compressed. So you might be able to feel that, especially if you have an imbalance in your spine. Be careful, it's a lot of work. So doing it with the chair is definitely easier. Taking that break in between, if you have time today, we have time. Slow things down a little bit. Sunday is my favorite day of the week. So this is my only obligation. And this is actually just a lot of fun to be able to practice with all of you. I'm just doing my practice with all of you today, so it's not exactly work. Doing that around 4 times. Any variation of the arms that works for you. Be careful, don't overdo it. Again, using the chair, arms at the sides, especially when you come up. This is a back strengthener, be careful, it can be too much. So we're doing a lot of forward bends today, decompressing the spine and release. Okay, we're going to go into regular Uttanasana now. The feet parallel. I'm going to start with the chair. Inhale, arms up, palms facing the wall. Exhale, pelvic floor, lower belly, belly button in. And you can bend the knees in this one to keep the weight of the back to hold it in the hips. It's a lot of weight. So bending the knees just gives you a stronger foundation. Or at this point, we stretch one leg at a time. You might be ready to keep your legs straight. Now, again, easier is bending the knees, but also when you come up, you can bring your hands on your thighs, backs of your legs, and then up at the end. So you can play with that variation. Harder, interlock the fingers, rounding the spine as you exhale. I do like to bend the knees because it helps me decompress the lower back more. And last variation I'm going to show without the prop. So pick your medicine step by step. Every day is different. So, my own practice, my modifications really depend on the day. And usually when the mind is going through more stress, you're being hit in your outer world with some things that are a little hard to digest. The body tends to be a little tighter, so modifying is often the right thing. Just bringing the floor up to you with a prop, bending the knees, bringing the floor closer to you by bending the knees. When you're ready, can you just stay in this forward bend? We're going to do around 4 up and down. You might already be there. Once you get to your full forward bend, you can add that stitty, that slight up and down, to help you lengthen the spine, get the rib cage forward. It's also strengthening for the back. You might be ready to just stay in the pose. You can hold with the first two fingers, the big toe. You can put the palms under the balls of the feet. That's a nice one for actually stretching the wrists. It's kind of uncomfortable, but I was telling myself it's probably doing some good. Can you start bringing the head down so it just hangs? So most of us have a tendency to keep our head up. But if you can you release down? Go to your full pose, hands beside the feet. Or I like to lock in at the back of the thighs. And also have the feet together if your hips are smaller. And this is a semi-inversion. Head lower than heart. Inhale, let, exhale, go. Inhale, om, exhale, namo. Pressing the gut changes the blood flow. Head lower than heart changes the blood flow. Sends a message to the nervous system to slow down. And your whole spine is decompressing. So from a yogic perspective, this is part of the elixir of youth, is stretching the spine, decompressing the spine. And there's lots more tricks from Ayurveda to help with all of that. And inhale, coming up. And start sharing more of that in the fall. So you can start bringing those pieces a bit more into your lifestyle as well. Just notice how you feel. Feel your feet. Feel the breath slow down. And I'm just going to take another moment of gratitude for Mother India, sending her our prayers, our positive thoughts, however you want to frame that with your belief system, worldview. Thanking her for this healing practice. All people suffering, may they find the strength, inner strength to go through whatever they have to go through. At the same time, call to action for those of us who have the power to help in any way that we can. That's the balance of Kriya Yoga, yoga in action, doing what you can and letting go of what you can't control. All right, so after all that letting go, let's fill up with some new energy. So we're going to move into back arches. Back arches are a big part of lower back care. We're going to start with a back arch that is not really a back arch. It's kind of fun. This was a huge learning for me about 5 years ago when I had a back spasm for the first time in my life after a very stressful period. And I was like, oh my God, I was on the floor for 3 days. And I thought for about 2 weeks, I thought I had herniated disc, but apparently I just had a back spasm. So fortunately, I was with my teachers in India when it happened, and I learned a ton about this aspect of yoga. So when you're ready, bring one foot forward, the other foot back. And if you ever have one, give me a call and I will work with you privately because it's not really a group yoga therapy thing. But to ward against it, this can be very helpful. So inhale, rather than arching the back up like we normally do in Virabhadrasana, I want you to bend the front knee and extend forward. Now, you might do this with one arm. So if you had more pain right now, you would do it with just one arm. Opposite arm to front leg is usually feels more balanced, and stretch that arm that's forward, stretch it as long as you can. You'll feel the stretch into your back, and then exhale, pelvic floor, lower belly, belly button in, engaging that core. Add more weight, add both arms. Stretch as long as you can at the top. And exhale. So for those of you who work with me privately and you have lower back stuff, I often give this one for compressed backs. Inhale. If you want to add on further, you can interlock those fingers and see if you can get a little further. So this is a way to strengthen the back without compressing it. Now, if you have the strength, we're going to do a dynamic stay. Otherwise, just keep it going whatever version worked for you. Inhale. I'm going to stay here, and I'm going to add a movement just to help get into the upper back as well. I'm going to bend the elbows, draw the belly in. Inhale, extend. Now, the palms can be down, or you can have them facing each other. That might feel better. Now, this is strengthening your back. This is like doing a cobra, but standing. And I personally don't do a lot of cobras and Superman poses. I tend to do these because I find them more effective because they don't hurt my neck. But we are going to work on those later. And I'll show you how to do them without hurting your neck. And when you're ready, just do a forward bend as a rest. This could be at a chair. Just rest. Inhale, let, exhale, go. Inhale, om, exhale, namo. When you're ready, slowly come up, walk your hands up, the leg, bend the front knee. Step back if you can, otherwise forward. Find your samastiti. That was with my left leg. We're going to do the right. Start with your easy side. Stepping the other foot forward, back foot, turn it out. If that's hard for you to balance, which on the side it is hard for me, it can be good to turn the foot out before you step forward. Check, whatever worked for you on the other side, you can do. I'm going to show the steps. Inhale, one arm. Exhale, extend forward, pelvic floor, lower belly, belly button in. Oh, we're not going all the way down, halfway down, bending the front knee. Inhale up, exhale forward. Okay, I didn't do that right. Let's try that again. We're gonna do this on the inhale. I forgot the pose I was doing. Inhale, front knee bend and extend. There we go. We started doing a half forward bend. Exhale, release. Inhale, bend that front knee, tracking over second toe, extend opposite arm, stretch nice and long. Might feel it into the lower back, the hip, leg, or the rib cage even. Exhale. If that's feeling good, maybe add both arms. This is twice the weight. Bend that front knee. Stretch long, like someone's pulling your hands. Now feel the connection with your back foot. Exhale, release. If that's feeling good, maybe interlock the fingers. We keep that going, or we move into our dynamic stay. Inhale. So hardest version would just be to stay here with the arms however you want them. Or exhale, bend the elbows, and this is to help us breathe. It's a lot of work staying there. So this just helps us connect to the breath. It also connects the upper back to lower back. Palms down or towards each other, feel the difference. Keep the elbows nice and high. Draw the belly in as you exhale. Connect to the core. Pelvic stability. So important for the lower back, for the hips, for the organs. Doing that around 4 times. It's also very strengthening for that front leg. When you're ready, go into your forward bend, maybe adjust your feet a bit, and just rest. Do this with a bench or chair, if that feels better. Inhale, let, exhale, go. Inhale, Om, exhale, Namo. I surrender and let go of what I cannot control. I move from the little I to the big I, the little self to the big self. Inhale, not, exhale, me. Or in the affirmative, I. Inhale, am, exhale. Mantras are very personal. Just pick any set of words that resonates with you right now today. And ready, coming out. On your samastiti, notice how you feel. Hopefully your lower back is starting to feel very stretched out, and your upper back too. You have compression there. Sometimes we feel things more in our upper back, sometimes more in our lower back, and sometimes in both parts. So you should feel about an inch taller now. I think we're ready to head to the floor. This is, for many people, their favorite part of the class because we get to do the rest part and restore. I'm just going to angle my camera down. So. Go. Let's see into Garden Bay there. It's actually Gunboat Bay is what it's officially called, this part of the bay. Kind of a funny name. I sometimes call it Gunboot Bay, but it's not the right name. All right, so find your spot. I like to use a wall to put my feet at. And I'm just going to angle the lights down a bit. Make sure you can see me. Been online for a year, hard to believe. All right, find your spot. You can all see me okay? Hopefully. You just give me a thumbs up if you can see me. I'm sure you'll tell me if you can't. Okay. All right, so lying down, I'm going to start with Tadaka Mudra. Got my feet at the wall. Now, for some people, this position is going to be very uncomfortable for the lower back. So for some people, the best thing to do is to bend the knees, and you'll find, oh, my lower back feels so much better. So pick your medicine. Either the knees bent, which probably means 4 bends feel really good in your back, or if your back really likes back arches, you will like having your legs straight, probably. Mine likes both, so you might be that person and you can choose. Tadaka Mudra, inhale, arms coming up. Now, the other thing that happens here is some people need a pillow under the head. Some people need a bolster behind them to put their arms to, or a big bed pillow, because the arms don't go all the way back. So just test that out for yourself and see what props you need to help you. So you have a big bolster behind you, pillow under the head so that the chin is not sticking up to the sky. If you've done in-person classes with me, you know I'm a Nazi about that. Inhale, arms coming up. Now tuck that chin down, Jalandhara Bandha. Good stretch in the back of the neck, grounding the energy. Exhale, pelvic floor, lower belly, belly button in. This pose, Tadaka Mudra, works with the lower bandhas. Pelvic floor to belly button. First 3 chakras. That belly button chakra is the personal power chakra, the Maniparaka, seat of many jewels, seat of many of our vital organs, especially of digestion and elimination. And this is the center of empowerment. The back of that chakra is our lower back. When we feel disempowered, we sometimes start to slouch. Sometimes the muscles in our lower back stop holding us up. These can be responses to stress. The feeling of, I just can't do it. It's too much, whatever's going on. And life sometimes does feel like that. Sometimes it can be very hard and filled with dukkha, suffering. Yoga says we want to lessen the effects of suffering and avoid future suffering. How can we do that? The main method given us by Patanjali is the 8 limbs of yoga. Today we're practicing at least 3 of them: asana, pranayama, breathing, Pratyahara, withdrawing the senses. Doing at least 2 more. Dharana, concentration. Dhyanam, meditation. That means whatever you're concentrating on, you're starting to link with. And maybe you're falling into some states of flow, which yoga calls samadhi, absorption. Flow is what positive psychology calls it. And time stops. Sometimes we experience ecstasy or bliss, joy. He's talked about that. Sometimes we're so absorbed, we actually don't feel anything except a deep sense of peace. When you're ready, if you can, staying in the pose. We've been doing this as a meditation for a while. It's a wonderful way to also work on the lower back very subtly. Palms together, interlocking the fingers, palms stretching overhead. Can you stretch the whole spine? Let's go into the musculoskeletal system, energetic system. Exhale, pelvic floor, lower belly, belly button in. Stretch the whole lower back to the floor. Reducing that curve, that lordosis of the back. Hold after exhale, strengthen the lower back. Inhale into the chest, then into the belly. Feel the arch of the back. Exhale, pelvic floor, lower belly, belly button in, chest falls. Ujjayi pranayama, constricting the throat. Hold after exhale. Pull the pelvic floor in and up. Can you bring it one more story up? Can you add that chin lock? Release, inhale. Do this in your own timing. Inhale, expand. Exhale, contract. Hold after exhale. The inhale, the back arch. Exhale, feel the contraction, the lengthening of the lower back. As you contract the core. And when you're ready, coming out of it, release the arms, rest. The legs can be straight or the legs can be bent, your choice. Rest. Inhale, Om. Exhale, Namo. I surrender. I let go. I allow. I allow things to be as they are. My teacher, Devi Sridhar, once said to me, live your life as if everything happening is perfect and see what happens. That was probably one of the most profound things he's ever said to me. I was going through a very difficult time working abroad in China. Some of you knew me during that period. Big karmic dump, lots of challenging things every day being thrown at me. He said to me, go through it. It will purify you. Just go through it. Accept it, allow it. Sometimes that's all you can do, just to go through. Hold on to your center. And wait for the storm to pass. When you're ready, we're going to do some back arches. I've done a lot of forward bends today. Let's start with Padapinam, bridge pose. So your legs might already be bent. You could put a block between your thighs. You could put a block and a belt, tie your thighs together with a block. If you have, for example, gone through a car accident, you have a lot of instability in your lower back, it can be helpful to lock that all in. Otherwise, I'm going to do it without any props today. Arms at the sides, hip height. I always like to have my palms up because that's what my shoulders like. You can have your palms down. Inhale, lifting the hips up. Exhale, coming down. Inhale from the chest to the belly. Exhale from the belly to the chest. Inhale, the chest expands, the belly expands. Lift a little higher. Exhale, stay here. Inhale, lift a little higher. Now, some of us with long torsos and shorter legs, it can be really helpful to come up on the toes to lift higher because we feel like we can't get up there. So you can try this. You can also put those hard blocks, yoga blocks, under your feet during this pose. I would do it with the blocks at a wall. Exhale, coming down. So we're going to start staying at the top. If this doesn't work for you, just go up and down. Padapinam, two-footed stool, bridge pose. Inhale. Exhale, stay. Inhale, I'm going to come up on my toes and try to lift a little higher. Exhale, stay. You can bring the heels down. See if you can stay up. Inhale. Exhale, coming down. So keep this going, your own timing. Again, you might have that block between the thighs to help you connect to the inner thighs and keep your back more stable. This is a great back strengthener, great for lordosis. Exhale, stay. That sway back, you can reduce that. Inhale, lift higher. It's also very strengthening for the hips. We worked on this the last couple of weeks. Lift higher, higher, higher. Exhale, stay. You can keep up or bring the heels down. Move the hips up though. Inhale, lift higher. Exhale, coming down. Hopefully you're feeling your lower back working a bit. Inhale, coming up. Now I'm leaving my arms down rather than bringing that up to keep the focus on the lower back. Exhale, stay. Inhale, up on the toes, lift higher. Exhale, stay, heels down. Inhale, lift higher, still. Exhale, coming down. And rest. This also works those glute muscles. Great for pelvic stability, stability of the hips. And I tried to get into this when we worked on the hips the last couple of weeks, but we're doing it today. We're going to do one more. We're going to actually go on the belly, which is usually something I avoid, but it is wonderful. And this is my favorite way to do it for working the lowest part of the back. So fold your hands, put your forehead on the folded hands. If this doesn't work for you, use a block underneath the forehead. And you could also have a bed pillow underneath the belly, underneath the breasts, and could go all the way down to the hips. It really depends on your comfort. That can help move the lower back more to the sky by adding that compression of the belly. So it can just help the back to be a bit longer. Release. Now I've got my feet at a wall. If you've got a wall, you can do this, but you can do it without a wall. I'm going to turn my head a bit so you can hear me better. Inhale, tuck the toes under and straighten the legs. Exhale, release. So if your neck hurts in these back arches, this is a great modification. Inhale, straighten those legs. Exhale, stay. This is also great for strengthening the knees and the glutes, the hips. Exhale, release. So it's working on the legs, the hips, and the lower back. Inhale. Exhale, stay. Inhale. Exhale, release. Now you can add the upper back to this if you want by lifting the chest. Now keep the chin tucked in. Exhale. Inhale. Exhale. Now classical use of the arms is hands parallel, little finger side parallel. You can have a landing pad of an eye pillow or a little face cloth or a block for your forehead or nothing. Inhale. Extend through the legs first. Get the lower back firing up, that multifidus. Lift the chest a little bit. I'm keeping the chin in, so I'm not compressing the neck. That can lead to migraines and all sorts of problems. Exhale, stay. If it doesn't hurt your neck, feel free to look up. That is classically how it's taught. Exhale, release. If you like, you can turn your head to one side as you come down. To work on neck rotation as well, that's an add-on. Otherwise, keep your head center. Inhale, Bhujangasana Cobra, and I'm adding the legs to it so that the lower back is stable and working. Press into the hands. Exhale, release, turn the head. So if you can't get any height, do have that bed pillow under the belly. It will help a lot. So this is one of those poses you'll either love or hate. I'm trying to bring it back into my practice after avoiding it for quite a few years, not doing it very regularly. It is a wonderful back strengthener. Bhujangasana Cobra. It's working the upper back, and I'm adding the lower back by working those legs, extending them on inhale, exhale, release. You can add a hold at the top. And just stay here if you can, a breath or two. Feel your lower back work. Keep your chin tucked in. And release. We're going to move into child's pose, counter pose. Hands down by the waist, coming up, or come up any way you can. That can be hard on the wrists, so just be careful. Your child's pose, spreading your knees apart, coming forward. You can have a bolster. This pose doesn't work for you. I remember students who really hate child's pose. That really doesn't work for them. This is a wonderful modification. I'm going to show this. My Iyengar teacher called it Superfrog. I think it's called Bakasana. I'm forgetting the name for frog, but anyway, it's not a pose my teachers in India teach, but it's kind of like that child's pose, and it gets into the hips. You turn the feet out, and you just press away from the wall until you can completely rest. Back is neutral. Getting a groin stretch. And your lower back is resting. So we're going to end with this. At some point, lace can go up the wall and tie the ankles together with a belt or a scarf. The thighs together with a belt or a scarf. You can put a pillow or bolster or block, soft block, not a hard one, underneath the pelvis. The legs can be flush against the wall or away from the wall so that you can relax. Or just go into Shavasana, relaxation. Sometimes in the face of trauma, dukkha, suffering. Dukkha means to shut down. Means there's this dew, this dark smoke in the kham, this third chakra area. Another name for it is Kham. Kham. And it can become very dark and close down. When we feel happy, in an everyday sense, we have sukham. Su is light. This area is filled with light. Color of this third chakra is yellow, like the sun, filled with su, light. So the normal human experience is back and forth between sukham, light, feeling good, feeling happy, and du, darkness, dukkha, suffering. Back and forth, endless wheel of pleasure, pain. I feel good, I feel bad. So in yoga and Buddhism, we want to get off this constant wheel of samsara, change. How do we do that? We practice being present. We practice resting in our heart of hearts, in our stillness. And ultimately, that is our kaivalyam, our freedom. Most of us can only touch that for moments at a time. But that's the training. Just keep practicing. Into Shavasana, that's at the wall. You're not out there. Just notice the breath. Inhale, exhale here. Inhale, exhale here. Aham mamam smi. I am eternal. Aham mamam smi. I am eternal. Aham mamam smi. I am. Stay here longer and just as long as you like. I'm going to bring us into a close, but feel free to stay longer and rest in your essence, your presence, your true self deep in the heart. That is free from the effects of suffering. When you're ready, turning onto one side or staying there longer, your choice. And even if you can hold on to that space of presence and joy and peace in the face of whatever suffering you are going through in your life right now, whatever difficulties, challenges, even if you can hold on to it for a few minutes every day or through a longer practice, maybe 15, 30 minutes. Just keep practicing being present. Shanti, Shanti, Shanti. Hari Om. If you like, rub your hands together, place them on your eyes, calming. Great way to counter all this computer work we're all going through during COVID. Bowing the head to the heart, to the earth. Namaste. Namaskaram. And remembering Mother India as she moved through this suffering, this storm. Come out the other side, more aware, more present, more resilient. The gifts of moving through difficulty, may she have that. Your people have that. Namaste. Namaskaram.